With the recent announcement that Connor Zilisch is moving to the NASCAR Cup Series in 2026 with Trackhouse Racing, I thought I would make a video about the best driver without a Cup ride for 2026. Corey Heim is currently in the middle of one of the best NASCAR Truck Series seasons in history. Through 19 races, he has 8 wins, 8 poles, 3 of those coming from the metric though, not based on qualifying speed, 13 top 5s and 15 top 10s, average start inside the top 5, a 6.2 average finish. He's had an average of 47 points per race, and get this, he's led over a third of the laps run this season. This 11 truck has been lights out everywhere they've gone. Heim, definitely the championship favorite when we get to Phoenix. Only 15 top 10s in 19 races though, what a scrub. I'm going to take a look at the 4 races he did not get top 10s in. The first of his not top 10s coming at Atlanta, he was having trouble with fuel pickup and his car stalled after stage 2. He lost a few laps there. The next was a 17th place run at North Wilkesboro. He led 162 of 255 laps. Dominant day. He was wrecked from the lead during a green-white checkered on the final lap when Lane Riggs threw a slider that didn't quite work. One position worse at Michigan, an 18th place run there. He led 29 of 139 laps. He was wrecked from second place with 6 laps to go on one of those final restart wrecks. And the last of those came at Pocono. He led 48 out of 80 laps. He had just won stage 2 and was leading when he had a flat tire coming to the restart, so he had to pit as the field took the green flag, got behind, wasn't able to catch up as that final stage went green. There were 2 other races I wanted to talk about here. Although he did finish inside the top 10, he probably should have won both of these races as well. Homestead, he led 78 of 134 laps, but the car kept shutting off and losing power. He lost the lead, fell back to 3rd, reclawed his way back up to the lead, and then the engine shut off again with just 4 laps to go. Kyle Larson, a Cup regular, ended up winning that race. He probably would have beat Larson. And then at Martinsville, he ended up finishing 6th there. He led 139 out of 200 laps, but he was wrecked from the lead on the restart with 35 laps to go. He swept the stages in both of these races. He is putting on an absolute clinic, although the points just reset last week for the first race of the playoffs. Heim has scored over 200 points throughout the season, more than the second place driver Lane Riggs. In the current points format, this is almost a 4-race cushion on the lead. Absolute dominant season by this 11 truck here. A storyline to watch through the remainder of 2025, Corey Heim looks to become the first driver to break the 10-win mark in a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Greg Biffle leads this list with 9 wins in his 1999 campaign. He didn't win the championship that year, ended up finishing 2nd. Mike Skinner had 8 wins apiece in both of the first 2 seasons of the Truck Series, 95 and 96. Kyle Busch, 8 wins in just 16 races in 2010, back at the prime of Kyle Busch, running all 3 series and tearing them all up. And then of course where we stand here, Corey Heim, 8 wins. He has 6 races to go to add on 2 more wins. Definitely possible with how fast that 11 truck has been running in 2025. For the rest of this story to make sense, we have to go back to 2021 when Corey burst on the scene in the ARCA Menard Series. He ran a part-time effort in 2019, racking up 8 top 5 finishes, and then went to the Cars Tour in 2020 where he won. He was slated to run a full-time ARCA Menard Series season in 2021, and he was really the only driver that entire season that could keep up with Ty Gibbs. Corey Heim finished in the top 10 in all 20 races that year, won more than Ty Gibbs, but Gibbs had a few more top 5s and dominated in the wins category, 10 wins to Corey Heim's 6. However, their average finish was very close, a 3.0 to a 3.1. Gibbs had a DNF at Talladega early in the season that kept this championship fight pretty close. Ultimately, Ty Gibbs winning the title by about 40 points. He won the top car battle between these 2 drivers, 14-6. He also got to make his first 2 Truck Series starts, his debut at Darlington. He was actually restarting on the front row after running in the top 5 for most of the race. When he was wrecked with about 30 laps to go, ended up finishing 23rd there. Had a lot of speed, probably could have won that race if it went green. Pretty average finishes though at Watkins Glen and at Martinsville, especially for being in a KBM truck in his other 2 starts. However, despite his ARCA success and looking very promising at Darlington in the trucks, he was not offered a full-time ride in 2022, instead running part-time in the number 51 truck. He ran 16 of 23 races, won twice at Atlanta and Gateway, added 2 poles onto that, 6 top 5s and 10 top 10s. He ended up 14th in points though, despite not running all the races, and won the 2022 Rookie of the Year award. He ran the 51 truck in the owners playoffs and only had 1 finish outside of the top 10, that was at Talladega when he got caught up in a wreck. A 9.2 average finish in the 7 playoff races for Corey Heim in the 51 truck though, looked very strong in the owners playoffs. Without the Talladega wreck, Heim had a 6.5 average finish in the 2022 playoffs. 31.5 points per race. He was going to be a force to reckon with when he went full-time in 2023. In 22 races, Corey Heim only finished outside of the top 10 3 times, had 19 top 10s, 12 top 5s to go along with 3 wins and 4 poles. Average start 7.0, a better average finish at 6.8. 42.1 is average points per race. That is more than you get for a race win, 40 points per race. 611 laps led. Dominant season by Corey Heim. Did not win the championship though, ended up finishing 3rd in the points. Was in position to win the championship when he was spun out by Carson Hocevar late in the Phoenix race. That race has been well documented. He got his revenge on Carson Hocevar, screwing Grant Enfinger. At the end of the day though, Enfinger didn't have anything for the 11 truck before he was spun out. This Phoenix wreck ended a 15 race top 10 streak that Corey Heim was on, going back to before he missed the race at Gateway. I want to take a look at the regular season standings that year. Corey Heim winning the regular season championship by over 50 points. But you want to know something crazy? He did not run the race at Gateway due to sickness. So this is with one less start than everyone else. He still locked up the regular season championship one race early. And it gets even better when you look at the season-long standings. Over a 100-point gap on second place Christian Eckes. Heim would have locked the championship up a few races before Phoenix had the full season points been in effect. It's understandable why he took his revenge to Carson Hocevar at Phoenix. He knew he got screwed out of the championship. Heim also got his first taste of Xfinity Series action for a part-time Sam Hunt Racing team. In 4 part-time races, he had 2 DNFs due to mechanical issues. Finished both races at Darlington, a 10th place in the spring and 15th in the fall. Heim broke out even more in 2024, this time running all 23 races, a little less on the top 10 count, 14 top 5s, but doubled his win count, 6 wins on the season, again leading over 600 laps and averaging more than 40 points per race. Heim finished 2nd in points. This was to Ty Majeski, who beat them all at Phoenix. Gotta give a shout out to Christian Eckes though. Eckes had better pace than this 11 truck all year, was definitely the best truck driver in 2024. Heim's Xfinity Series schedule got expanded quite a bit though, upping it from 4 to 13 races in 2024, again with a part-time Sam Hunt Racing team, 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s, a 15.5 average start, 17.5 average finish. Pretty strong for the equipment that he was running in. This was not a full-time team at Joe Gibbs Racing that had a pit crew and everyone on the car working every week. This was a team of guys who aren't regularly on pit road and a car and crew chief who aren't regularly at the racetrack. But that wasn't the highlight of his 2024 season. He was tapped to drive the 43 car when Eric Jones had to step away due to an injury. Looked very strong in both of these races, 25th at Dover, 22nd at Kansas. I should mention Eric Jones had an average finish of 22.9 in 2024. John Hernimacek, 25.4, so he ran right where those guys were running in the same equipment when they were running it all season long. They were accustomed to the next-gen car. Very strong appearances for Corey Heim here. He also stepped into the number 50 car for 2311 at Nashville. He was running 22nd with 2 laps to go before that last caution at Nashville. We all remember all the restarts there. He got himself into the top 20, was involved in one of those wrecks on the green-white checkered, ended up in 29th position. Alright, well let's go back to 2025 because there is a bit more to talk about this season besides his NASCAR Truck Series starts. Heim has only made 3 Xfinity Series starts to this point. Circuit of the Americas, he was running 3rd when he was spun out late in the race. No caution, didn't have a chance to restart and catch back up. Robbed of a pretty good finish there. Homestead, he had an electrical issue about 40 laps into the race. Never really able to show his pace there. He retired pretty early on. And then a strong top 10 run finishing 8th at Bristol. Once again in the Sam Hunt Racing number 24 car. Has not been given any Joe Gibbs Racing starts to this point. 17.8 average start, a little bit worse on the average finish at 25.3. Heim has gotten into the number 67 car for 2311 Racing a few times this season. A very strong showing at Kansas, finishing 13th. Was running inside the top 20 for most of that race. And then a few weeks later at Nashville, he was running 12th about halfway through the race. Just past Brad Keselowski. Wasn't quite clear though, ended up wrecking himself off Keselowski's nose. Finishing in 37th, but he definitely had top 10 speed. Was looking really good in that race as well. At Chicago, it was the first race that was not a Daytona 500 since 2018 Texas to feature a DNQ. It was Corey Heim. He was having a good lap, was definitely going to make the race. Smacked the wall on the street course, broke the toe link. That was all she wrote, getting his first Cup Series DNQ there. And then just a few weeks ago at Richmond, he finished down in 29th position. Lost his lap pretty early on in the race, never really able to get it back. Tried to wave around a few times. ended up finishing a few laps down in 29th. So what is the case for him to go straight to the Cup Series, jumping the NASCAR Xfinity Series? Well, the word in the garage is that the next gen car is a lot more similar to the truck than it is to the Xfinity Series car. You can learn bad habits in the Xfinity Series car. It's not as much momentum racing as the truck series. And there are 3 recent examples of drivers who jumped straight from the truck series to the NASCAR Cup Series. The first of those being Carson Hocevar, 72 Cup starts for him, 3 top 5s and 13 top 10s. He has a 20.4 average finish. Finished 21st in the points last year, winning Rookie of the Year. Was in the playoff bubble battle a little bit this year. He's fallen off in recent weeks. He's had race-winning speed at certain tracks, though you cannot argue that. Hocevar definitely a contender to be the next first-time winner in the NASCAR Cup Series. Zane Smith, a Truck Series champion, 72 starts as well in the Cup Series, 2 top 5s, 8 top 10s, a 22.5 average finish. His teammate, Todd Gilliland, 135 Cup starts, 1 top 10, 13 top 5s, 22.0 average finish. None of these guys are racing for top teams, with teammates that have made the playoffs in previous years or are competing for the playoffs. All in mid-pack rides. All of them have been running mid-pack. Very strong results for these guys. Todd Gilliland, a great year last year, been struggling this year since moving over to the 34 car. Heim outran both Hocevar and Zane Smith when they raced together in the NASCAR Truck Series. You got to give him a chance to do it at the Cup level as well. So the rumblings for 2026 is that Corey Heim isn't going to run full-time in any series, but just part-time in all 3. This got me thinking about Ryan Blaney's 2015 season where he ran in all 3 series, winning races in 2 of them. Blaney ran just 5 truck races, but he won at Bristol, 4 top 5s, and finished top 10 in all 5 races. 13 Xfinity Series starts, that came with 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. 16 Cup starts, he had 3 DNQs, the 21 car was not in the top 35 in owner points. So it rained, he failed to make the race. That happened 3 times. He had 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, a 14.5 average start, so was a really good qualifier, 25.3 average finish through those 16 races. Right now, Corey Heim, a 25.8 average finish in his 6 Cup starts. We all see what Blaney has turned into. Let's compare that to a few other guys. Larson ran 4 Cup races in 2013 before he went full-time in 2014. 29.3 his average finish. Chase Elliott ran 5 races in the number 25 car for Hendrick Motorsports in 2015. He had a 26.2 average finish. It is hard to race in the NASCAR Cup Series, especially when you're learning the car. Corey Heim putting up comparable numbers to 3 NASCAR Cup Series champions in their first goes in a Cup car. At the end of the day, though, it all comes down to Toyota and what their plan is for him. Heim was on Out of the Groove for an interview. He said something that really stuck with me. The people at Toyota have told me to trust the process, and so far, the process has been pretty good. Ty Gibbs obviously jumped right into the number 54 car, but there are other big prospects like Eric Jones, ran a season at Furniture Row Racing, Chris Rebel, Levine Family Racing. Maybe that's the plan, you get Corey Heim in somewhere, and then eventually he takes over for Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. 2311 seems pretty high on him. They obviously have him signed to that development deal. Is he a potential driver for the 35 car in a year or 2? Legacy Motor Club, they've talked about him before. They've talked about getting a 3rd charter. Is he an option there? It takes these young drivers towards the end of their 2nd year, sometimes even in the beginning of their 3rd year, to really start clicking and competing for wins. You're just delaying the timeline by not getting Corey Heim in there as soon as possible. Even if it's in a smaller team, just learning the next-gen car, learning how it races on some of the tracks. Hopefully Corey Heim finds his way into the NASCAR Cup Series soon. The racing will be better off for it. Thanks so much for watching.